Hello everyone, for today's video I have a full God's Rolls themed moveset. Now this was something I came up with by myself, so I'm not going to show anyone's comments who suggested it, but if you guys do have any moveset themed suggestions then please feel free to leave them in the comments, and the best ones will be used for future videos. And of course, if you guys do enjoy these videos and you haven't done so yet, then I would highly encourage you to subscribe, as it really does help the channel out quite a lot. So very quickly, going into the moveset, we've got Rise to Action, Whirlwind Blade, Murder Grenade, Darkness Twin Star, and for our two ultimates we have Super Key Explosion and Double Death Slicer, Kaioken as our transformation, and Blood Counter as our evasive. And if you couldn't tell already, this is my Super Saiyan Rosé Burcol Black character. And before we go any further, this is not going to be one of those creepy videos that I did before with this character. It's just going to be a typical commentary video, so don't expect anything creepy because I'm not going to do it in this video. So I was able to finally get my Burcol Black character to level 85, which at the moment of me recording this, that is the max level. Yes, it will be increased to level 90 in the DLC Pack 2 update, but again, as of me recording this, which is like February 8th I believe, the max level is level 85. Now this character is meant to be based around Ki, so I do have quite a lot of points in Ki and Ki Blast Supers. I have 0 points in Strike Supers, and as you just saw there from my QQ Bang, I actually have points taken away, so this is no point in me using a Strike Super. Now yes, granted, Bloody Counter is technically a strike evasive, I guess you could call it, but it's meant to be an evasive, and I've just got that because it's just very aggressive, and I do think it fits with both this moveset and the character. I will be playing with limitations off, so stats, levels, and all that good stuff will apply, and I'm also going to be running the Super Soul called, I've been saving this, Kaioken, which of course is Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken, Goku Super Soul, which basically means that you can just easily maintain Kaioken and Kaioken times 3, depending on the situation, I guess. So that being said, let's get into the first battle. So there is a technique called Ki Blast Cancelling. I mean, it might have some other names, but that's what I refer to it as, and it's basically shooting a Ki Blast at your opponent to make them stagger, and then you're going to do, an attack. And my opponent is doing that. I mean, I don't really consider that cheap. It's actually a decent technique if you know how to use it, but unfortunately for my opponent, he doesn't really know how to do it properly, so that is going to really suck for him. And you just saw right there, he did go for Ki Blast and he blocked, and I went for the Heavy Smash, which of course broke his guard, and now I'm just unleashing a combo on him. I did hit him with the Whirlwind Blade, which typically does send your opponent flying back, but it didn't, so that's going to benefit me because I can just continue my combo. I go for the Double Death Slicer, and he does know how to avoid it, so that sucks for me, and I can't really use that again in this fight because again he knows how to avoid it. So I did try and go for the homing dash to hit him, then trying to lock in the Double Death Slicer again, but it just ran out. And okay, I'm a bit torn here because you just saw right there, he kind of did like a loop combo or an infinity combo. I'm thinking, well, can you, was it really an infinity combo? Because I could just simply vanish out of it, and, that's, I'm just protecting myself. It does, to some degree, feel a bit cheap, but then again, like I've just said, I can just easily vanish out of it. I don't know, that's a discussion for another day. Like, trust me, that's something that, if I were to talk about that, then the video will be like 5 hours long. Well, probably not, but yeah. So I did go for the Super Key Explosion there, and that did a ton of damage, and from this point he's simply just not going to be able to recover unless he pulls out some sort of miracle. Right there I get a perfect block off, and then I go for the throw, and I do decide to go for Rise to Action in case he tries to get me another infinity combo, and he does right here, and I simply vanish. I was expecting him to go for the back of there because he's very predictable, but I set up the Darkness Twin Star, and now I'm just waiting for an opportunity to send them flying at him, and I do, and that's enough to finish that guy off. Fun first fight, definitely very fun. Let's move into the second battle for this video. Going into the second battle, my opponent has picked the Awoken preset for hit, so it's got pure progress on it. And I did think this was a ranked battle, but looking at the timer, because it's like 10 minutes, it's not. But it's still with no limitations on. So I do have enough key to go for Kaioken, which the only reason I'm using it is because it just kind of looks like Super Saiyan Rosé, and it's the closest thing we have at the moment in Xenoverse 2. I don't really want to just dash with the blue aura because I just think that kind of destroys the immersion to some extent, so I will be trying my best to only dash and do things like that while I have Kaioken activated. It is a bit tricky, I will say that, but I did break his guard because he was blocking when I went for the Whirlwind Blade. I vanish here to teleport right next to him, and I go for the Super Key Explosion, and again that's going to do so much damage that, realistically speaking, he's just not going to be able to recover. I don't have any Ki or stamina at this point, so if he goes for his time skip Molotov, I may be in trouble. So I mean, right now I do have 1 bar Ki recovered, and I now have almost 3 because I went for the perfect block. So I sent him flying away and go for Rise Action, and I'm in an okay position now, I think. But just to be on a safe side, I should probably go for an additional Rise Action when I can, because right now, well, I did have almost 4 bars of stamina, but now I have almost 3 because I went for the Murder Grenade. I went for another Murder Grenade there. So although this match is almost over, if the opportunity comes up for me to use another Rise Action, then I should. Right here, he goes for the Flash Skewer, so I do fly away in a moment. I go for the Swing Kick there to try and send him away to create some distance, and right here, I do send him flying away, and I go for Rise Action, and I set up the Darkness Twin Star to maybe go for another Rise Action here. So I do have, not max stamina, but I do have a very healthy amount of it. And with this Super Soul, if you're in just the regular Kaioken and you have all of your stamina drained by, you know, just like dashing or vanishing, it won't actually break your guard and you'll just stay in Kaioken, which it could be helpful, I guess, but given I've got the dual Death Slicer Ultimate, I may be able to use that to send my opponent flying away while I have my stamina broken, send him flying away with maybe a Swing Kick, and then use double Death Slicer to just really like stalk him out until my stamina does return. So it goes for the time skip there. I kind of expected it, so I did vanish and I finished him off with another Whirlwind Blade, which that's just a very nice looking attack. So let's move on to the third battle for this video. So I do believe for this battle we're back in ranked, and just as a bit of a side note, I'm not showing these fights in the order that I recorded them because I think the first fight I showed was actually the last one I recorded, and I just thought that was more intense, so obviously I'm going to put that there to, you know, grab your attention, I guess. But I do believe in this fight my opponent basically gives up because I just kick his ass. Like, I do believe it's this fight, but you can see he's got Gigantic Omega or Gigantic Meteor. I always get mixed up with all these attacks because they've all got like Gigantic or Omega or Blaster in the name, and he's got Death Ball. I mean, Death Ball in itself, it's decent, I guess, but with Broly's ultimate, no, like you're just not going to be able to use that. Maybe if you hit your opponent with a Triangle Stamina Break and then use it immediately after, maybe it'll hit them then. Well, it will hit them depending on how much stamina they have and how long it takes to recover, but that's not going to be really the most efficient strategy. So you can see right here, he's just standing still. Like, I was just going to not show this fight, but I thought, well, I think that kind of fits to what the Burcol Black character is supposed to be. You know, it's someone who will drain your life, like your life force, I guess, or maybe make you want to give up and lose your will to fight. But I don't know if he did give up or if he had to walk away for whatever reason, like to do something else. But in a moment, I'm going to go for the double stamina break, and then I'm going to go for a number of swing kicks. Like right here, I start going for the swing kicks. But when his stamina does recover, he then vanishes and hits me once. Right here, he vanishes and hits me once. I vanish then to thinking he's going to go for a back hit, but he didn't, because like he's just standing still, and I honestly don't know why. Like, why would you stand still and then vanish and then stand still again, unless he just did give up and just wanted the match to be over? Don't know. Let's move on to the next fight, and hopefully this person doesn't give up. So again, another no limitations ranked battle. My opponent this time has Symphonic Destruction, which was very OP in Xenoverse 1. Well, in the early stages of Xenoverse 1, because you just couldn't break your opponent's guard when they used it. And he's also running Heat Dome Attack, which you just don't see that often now. You just saw there, he tried to catch me with the Lullaby Punch, and at the time I didn't know why he did it. But looking back, and now given the fact that he is running Heat Dome Attack, I mean, it's pretty obvious, or Heat Doom Attack, whatever it's called. Like, he wanted to use the Lullaby Punch to then get me in the Heat Dome Attack, because that would probably do a lot of damage if he is a key-based character, which I do think he is, because I do think he's running Super Vegeta as his transformation, so it just makes sense to assume that he is a key character. I did break his guard there after he tried to go for the stamina break, but I blocked it, and right there he went for the back hit when, I mean, I just didn't vanish. So that tells me that instead of reacting to when I do vanish, he's just going to try and predict it instead, which, if you know your opponent and you can pick up on their, you know, their patterns and they're not like predictable, then yes, that's going to be something that will be very efficient and very effective. But you do also need to react to when they will vanish, because if it's someone who knows what they're doing, then they're going to change up their, you know, their vanishing patterns and how they play. So there, as you just saw, I went for the Darkness Twin Star to use Rise to Action to get some stamina back, and then I go for the Double Depth Slicer, which he just knows how to avoid that. So I did just waste like what, 3 bars of ki, but oh well. But like I said a little bit ago, the fact that he's going to try and predict when I vanish to get a perfect block off, and the fact that he is also predictable in when he's going to do that, that's going to give me a fantastic opportunity just to, firstly, practice my perfect blocking when I vanish, and secondly, to recover ki. And given that I've replaced Maximum Charge with Whirlwind Blade on this moveset, I do need to make sure I have quite a lot of ki at, well, as much as possible, because that way I can then use my ki to use Rise Action to recover my stamina. But right here, I've not dropped out of Kaioken since this fight has started. Now yes, the Super Soul I'm using will help with that, but I also have max stamina now, and he's running Counter Burst, which, yes, that would actually be quite devastating with the moveset that I'm using, because I have pretty much all key-based attacks. But the only problem with that is that Counter Burst is absolutely awful. It is terrible. And I do think that the reason why it was added into Xenoverse 1 as the third and final DLC update was because there was a problem with spamming in Xenoverse 1, and maybe that was meant to be used as some sort of anti-spamming measurement, but it doesn't even, it just doesn't counter ultimate attacks, and it doesn't counter every key-based super. I don't believe it does anyway. Like, it does most of them, but not all of them, so I did test it out for a while. I did want to run it because, let's be fair, it looks like a very cool attack, but no, it's just garbage. So here he goes for a third, I believe, heat down attack, and from there, all I had to do was just hit him, and that'll be enough to finish him off. You could tell from a mile away that his whole strategy was to hit me with the heat down attack. Like, it was just obvious. And I think because of that, like, that's his downfall. Like, he only had one strategy, so unfortunately for him, he lost. So let's move into the final fight for this video, and I believe we're fighting his brother. This guy joined immediately after, and he looks very similar to the other guy we fought, apart from that this guy isn't wearing the glasses, and instead his accessory is the Super Dragon Ball radar. I just found it very weird that them both saying they both look very similar, and them wearing, almost the same outfit. Like, I think the other guy was wearing the, I'm not too sure, I think it was the Super 13 jacket, but this guy's wearing Trunks' jacket. But I did go for the Super Key Explosion there, and I probably shouldn't have, because I had, like, what, just over 3 bars of key, so I wouldn't have been able to prolong it at all. So yeah, I mean, this guy, he's also running Super Sprue Bomb, which, if you're not to run that in ranked, like, we think you're life. But let's be fair, like, it's not a terrible attack in terms of damage, but it's just way too slow to, to fire it off. I've now mentioned this like a billion times before, and because of how slow it is, like, I'm going, like, right here, he goes for it, even though I sent him flying back, I dash right up to him, I'm right in front of him, and because of how slow it is, I just had enough time to go for the Super Key Explosion, which just protect me a bit. But I do go for the evasive there because, I mean, it was a bit of a stupid thing to do, but given how much of an advantage I had over him, like, I could afford to do it, even if the Sprue Bomb hit me full on, which it didn't. So right there, I broke his guard, and from here, I'm going to vanish and go for the swing kick, and I'm going to go for the double death slicer, and I do believe this will finish him off. He now has his stamina recovered. Yeah, there we go. Hit him once or twice, I'm not too sure, but that was enough to finish him off. And I do think the reason this guy lost was really because of the Super Sprue Bomb. If he had pretty much any other attack, it would have been more efficient. For example, Cooler Supernova, but oh well. So that being said, thank you guys for watching the video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. And with that being said, I will see you next time.